All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Trigun Stampede, episode 3. All right.
Okay, so
we've got Knives, million little knife bots probably coming around, and they're hunting you, Vash.
They are indeed.
And they killed Govsev probably as a statement of just like, oh, we can find you, or something. That was a very abrupt way to end the previous episode.
Yes.
But that keeps the terror up, I would say. The stakes are very high right now. Right. I do not want little Tinos or Tonys to end up getting hit by one of these things.
That would be bad. Yeah, so...
Oh, look, another bug! Blam, blows his face off, you know?
Yeah, there were definitely ways in which they could have made that much
a lot darker.
Worse and a lot darker. So, you know...
Also, Govsev! Like, he was a good kid.
Uh-huh.
He was a good boy.
So I guess this is just Knives' message
of... boy!
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
All I gotta say is I want to know what the Nebraskas sound like in the dub. This show would probably have an amazing dub.
I could absolutely see that.
And given that they were called the Nebraskas, you know, like they'd have some Midwest drawl, you know, like
that's Midwest. That's Midwest.
It's close enough.
So what's Southern, my guy?
Well, now you know that's we get all up in that
full prospect, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
American here, stereotyping the.
We're so bad at geography and like we don't even understand our own country, much less anybody else.
I got family out in the Midwest. You know, that's true. They don't really have that strong of an accent. Really, it's more like, you know, a little bit of Midwest. You know?
Anyways, Vash, you probably got to keep moving. And hey, journalist, you got one hell of a story if you keep following Vash.
Oh my God, it'll be
an
amazing.
Epic.
It's going to be an amazing story.
Yeah.
So let's keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Chocobo the fuck out of here.
Right.
So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Oh shit.
Oh, and that's him too.
Oh, he's just coming.
He's just...
Well, okay then. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Just everybody's being taken hostage. Holy shit.
I don't think that's him, no.
I mean...
Oh, wait,
okay.
No, it is.
Okay, so Knives is probably coming this way, but... Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I got help.
All right. What the fuck?
Let's go full Mad Max, baby.
Oh, shit.
Sanest Gojo fan ever. Yep, so using the same tech that the plants are.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why you have 3D. To have big moving things like this. Shit! Yeah, Vash is built different. Like, he's taken...
Like, even if the one on his back blew up, I get the feeling he'd be fine.
Oh!
No!
Wait.
Ah, yes. The answer is suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I know.
All right. Let's go.
I mean, I'm glad that we're getting, you know, him showing up so early. Mm-hmm. If we're going to have a more fast-paced story. That's 4 pizzas, man!
Yeah. Yeah, and he's just like, and now I'll just leave.
God, one of my favorite action sequences that just could have been so much more was the Obi-Wan General Grievous chase.
Yes.
This is exactly that.
Yep, but just cooler.
Yeah.
More dynamic.
Oh. Oh. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That made him think for a second there.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he does have it in him to kill his brother. Like,
maybe. Yeah, maybe his brother is the one person he's willing to kill.
because this seems like influence from Nai, you know, helping people like this run wild, you know? Yeah, jump on him. Ah! Yes! Camera flash stun! Oh, this is really good, yeah. Ah!
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I was sent here. The guy who gave me this tech, he said he'd be coming. He let me have the plant, but... Natural consequence, but we're building a Nakama army. You can't continue the cycle of violence. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a pretty good point to revenge right now.
Yeah. Whoop!
I love that he just announces that he's here by playing the piano.
Yeah. Oh. I love it. Because we know it's in the like thing there because we've seen the piano. Fuck! But it could have been like actually like, you know, the background music, you know, but we know there's a piano there, so.
Right.
Whoa. Oh shit. Oh.
これ見よがしに奴らを助けてやって感謝されるのはさぞかし孤独が癒されるはずだ。
What?
Or is he a psychic? Holy shit.
It took until then for him to actually... Oh my god. Got a thing for arms. Oh. Vash's arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. They both don't want to kill each other.
Yeah.
In some ways, they both can't. Holy scale.
Yeah.
Oh. That was a flashback, yeah. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so then who was that out there that was the kid that looked like...
Yeah.
Fashion? Oh, shit. Well, there goes the fun tone of the show.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. He wants the corrupted one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, he wanted both, but yeah.
Sure.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
口先だけの無双主義者だ。待てよ。おとなしく見ていろ。 奴らが滅びるさ
So that's all you ever do?
撃ったのかお前の兄を
Oh, he would actually.
Okay. The 3D use for all
Design
this
is
is incredible.
So cool.
正しき世界を作るために俺は先へ行くぞ全てをイーブンに戻す
Okay, Doflamingo. All right, I feel like we're now past the proper intro to the story, you know?
Yeah.
Had the repeat of the, you know, rocket cluster bomb thing. Oh, shit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. Tony's, yeah. 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 Yeah, you could do all that, but you couldn't kill him. Yeah.
この町から出て行っておくあんたが来なければこんなことにはならなかった
Yeah, let's have a little talk, yeah. Oh, Tony's little worms.
あんなこと言われてどうして笑えるんですか
ずっと東の果て第三都市
Okay.
ジュライ
All right.
そこに奴は
Yep, yep.
Cool.
Cool. All right.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, 3-episode test, you know? There you go.
Yeah.
So, Nai is not just the main antagonist. He has an organization. He
Yep.
has followers. He has people that he's using to get what he wants. He is utilizing the tech and the capabilities of the plant, which is effectively, at this point, the catch-all for all the magic, you know, crazy sci-fi stuff that we've got here.
Yep.
That's fun because you can basically have a limitless capacity for types of conflicts with this as the world building. But we're even going so far as to even set up that there's a possibility of like lab-grown humans and stuff. And we're not going to jump all the way too far into that with this discussion primarily because that's more of just a theory. But, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was
The chaos of the stuff happening in this town felt a little bit too constrained. It's like, wow, everything's happening here. Suddenly another, you know, random character shows up. But the idea that he was a herald effectively for Nai makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I love that.
So that was really cool.
The and this episode following after the previous one, where the previous episode, you know, it's everything's gonna be just fine. You know, Vash will turn the enemies into allies, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we're going to get that happy ending, that whole thing, right?
Right.
To then have this one come right after that, where no,
Just grind that whole idea into the dust.
everything goes wrong. Like in truly spectacular fashion, the scale of this episode and everything that Knives did was fantastic.
Yeah, it felt like it was breaking a rule almost of storytelling. You were showing too much almost.
Like one of the other things that I gotta say, so when demonstrating like a villain that has crazy, terrifying powers, right? And their you know, callousness around violence, right? There can come a point where if you're like, it's the balancing act between you also want the audience to care about the horrible things that are happening.
Yes.
Because otherwise it just becomes, you know, it's something else, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we see him doing his thing and killing all these people, but then, oh, hey, how do you make it so that you don't just kill all the people that we do care about to the point that we don't have attachment in what's going on anymore?
Right.
And with Rosa, the fact that she didn't die at that point, right? The fact that he's sort of like taking his time to just like, and I'll grab you and then I'll take you and right, like it felt very unstoppable.
Yeah.
But the fact that she escaped, that's something that could theoretically reduce the feeling of threat from this antagonist. But no, then we get at the end of the episode exactly why he let her
Because it
survive.
doesn't matter. You're all gonna die when I decimate this entire place, send you all fleeing into the desert to slowly die.
Right. You're all going to die, but also this is about a message to Vash.
Yeah.
And so you're going to spread that message. I don't need to tell you what it is.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
No, you're the humanoid typhoon. Get the fuck away from here, right?
You will have nobody left.
Yeah.
And where will that bring you? Back to me.
Right. Like it's the yes, Vash has saved them what, 3, 4, 5 times already? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And that was horrifying and beautiful and delightful.
It was so simply put that it's hard to get the message twisted, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, I feel like there's something when you introduce such bombastic, fantastical elements to the story, you can sometimes the viewer can get lost in what kind of message is trying to be delivered here. There's a hopelessness, yes, but I loved the idea that Vash, you're trying this again to try and solve the problem of your loneliness.
Right.
I'm your big brother. I'm right here.
Right.
Why don't you come to me?
Yep.
I love that because then it's you're going to do so much for this here, and I'm going to come in, and they're going to blame you for it.
Right.
Aren't humans just wonderful?
Aren't they just the best?
Aren't they just the best?
Yeah.
They should be thanking you for just the capacity to live in my presence of a god. But no, they're going to turn on you because you're the only thing they can blame. Not their own inadequacies, their own failings.
And I got to say,
it's so fucking dark.
The way that the 3D specifically was used to be like, hey, let's get weird with like, if you've to show the like outlandish scale of everything, but then also like how beautiful it is, right? As it's like, oh yeah, I've got my, the psychic powers, whatever, the robe can vanish and turn to dust, whatever he did with Vash when he like, that whole thing was weird. But then, I'm just gonna have these, truly, if you have a name, Million Knives, I don't know if million is enough, right? Like, that's just a good catchy number, but I'm pretty sure,
it's the most marketable number that humans have for the too
many. Exactly, right? You don't say Google Knives, right? Like that just doesn't quite have the same ring to it, But then it's like, they are basically in the presence of a god, right? He has them in the palm of his hand and he decides to go,
I love also the idea that when you have a rivalry story, one of the problems of a rivalry story that turns to violence is you don't have necessarily the best reasons in the story for recurring encounters. Sure. Because eventually one of them doesn't walk away from the violent encounter, and then you don't have the story. Yeah. So, with these two being diametrically opposed forces in the plot, but having one of them have a problem with violence, the other one having no problem with violence, but having no desire to inflict it directly upon Vash.
Right.
That leaves us in a very fun, it's unstoppable force meets immovable object. Well, so it's the unstoppable force is, Nai, who comes in and just destroys everything.
Yep.
The immovable object being that Vash will not give up. He will maintain that smile, because if he doesn't have that, well, what hope is there for anything? And so our main character represents the hope amidst the unstoppable, impossible situation. Yep. And it feels so fucking cool, because then while you could look at this and go, wait, so Vash is a pacifist, and it's basically to spite his older brother, who's going in and killing all these humans, and he's like, I have to not just become worthy enough so that the humans will, accept me and be able to do all this and stuff, but also I can't bring myself to his level. So
so this is another thing that I want to get into that I think this episode adds, like, the package of these 3 episodes really is fantastic, and I think
it
this
should
episode
kind of be packaged together.
It is kind of packaged together, and I
Yeah.
think this episode adds so much to also the previous episode specifically
Yes.
because, and I talked about that a little bit, but instead of the meaning of Vash's pacifism, right? Like, one, there's just the thing of Vash looks at somebody who's doing horrible things, and he's like, yeah, but I've seen my brother. So, like, you know, like, comparatively, no, you're doing fine. Just please stop, right? You know, like that's
You'll listen because you're not my brother.
right. Like, there's a whole lot of hope and chance for you. So, no, I'm not going to shoot you,
Right.
you know, unless I really have to. But then we also go into the, hey, but pacifism is cool and all. But what do you do when someone when you are not in the position of power to be able to say, yes, I can just shoot your bullet, right?
Right.
Like, what do you do when you're not in that situation? Because then you're just letting people die.
Yep.
And so here we see, no, yeah, it's not, the story arc is not going to be, will Vash be willing to kill his brother? No, he's very willing to kill his brother,
Yeah.
right? Like this stuff starts happening, he's
Yeah,
like, bang, 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 you know.
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth because of the previous episode
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, wait, so he won't necessarily, depending on things, he might be trying to save his brother. No, this episode, very much put it clear that it's the...
I know what you're gonna say, Uncle. You know that she's my sister. I need to get along with her. No, she's crazy.
She needs to go down.
like, but you know, what do you do? Because he can just be like, no, you're pesky little bullets. No, stop.
Stop that.
You know, first, you know, you think you'll be able to stop me without embracing the fact that you're basically a god. Also, you know, right? Like that's very like the whole thing of, oh, you haven't opened your gate yet, or like. Wait, we're going.
Like, so we're going
all right.
full magic.
Yeah, right. Like, okay.
So,
Sure.
So that in combination with the me versus us that Nye said while at the piano,
Yeah.
and then also the child that came in with the doctor,
Yeah.
and then just the way in which the technology is being used. I really think we're going for the human race is getting replaced by some kind of plant grown, basically.
Alien god, whatever thing.
Well, plant grown new humans.
Right.
basically.
And this is where maybe it's, you know, some theory, but also I think it's stuff that's sort of established, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's a new race, then that establishes motivation. The old thing has got to go. We're better, and so there you go, right?
And we now actually know what he wants to do with all these plants that he's gathering.
Right.
He's effectively not just killing all the humans, he's replacing all the humans.
He's recovering the lost children.
Well,
Right, because if those seeds, because they definitely set up like the parallel
Yes.
between the two of them with
I
like
did-
one's good, one's corrupted, all that stuff,
yes.
right? And like him reclaiming them, this being something that he values, it's possible that it's just something where this is a source of his power in some way.
Yeah.
But given that we had the other one that looks like the child that really does look a lot like how they looked as kids,
really
that was
close.
there. You know, it's not a flashback.
I don't think
or
it's a
anything.
clone.
No.
Well, that was embarrassing for me because I was like, wait, hold on. Because the people looked too distinct there.
I
Or
think
not
that was
distinct enough.
kind of intentional on the show's part to
I
basically.
don't want to go there. I think I just slipped up and just thought that it was a thing there, but no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not necessarily that they.
Why would
okay.
they intend to want us to get confused?
No.
About,
So hear me out.
Yeah.
Not that we necessarily actually think that it's a clone, but something where they're clearly supposed to look so similar that we
Yes.
make the connection that this is like them,
Right.
To the point where it's we started out the show with knowing about there's 2 of them. Okay, now there's a third, right? And so you know there are more, and you know
but that has nothing to do with it being a flashback confusion or something like that. That's just good visual storytelling and stuff.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. The idea, though, that each seed is potentially a person, I like. I think that it would be a bit limited if each seed was just one person.
Okay.
I'll bet you that it's more that the seeds, these pod things can bear people. They could theoretically, you know, if you gathered enough of them up, you
Okay.
could make people. you could absolutely just
Well, right. I mean, with the kind of power that Knives displayed here, and the sort of way in which it was very focused in what he decided to do with it, right? He makes a bunch of knives. Okay, awesome. And the scale at which he does it, very impressive.
Yeah, it looks like kind of that nanotechnology kind of typical villain trope of the technical powers are always OP, so I have things that control from me out to me, showing my, psychic kind of limitless power.
But effectively, what it felt like he was kind of starting to go into is just matter manipulation, right? And with the, the touch on Vash's gun, that's where it's and it can get weird, right? But
hence creating humans is a very easy, logical step from there.
Right.
If we show a third person that looks way too similar to be a coincidence.
Yep. So that's, I think that's a very fun way to basically give hints as to what the mystery is without directly, taking time to
have him proclaim from the top.
Exactly.
I will build a new.
We're not doing anything like that. Why
No.
would he need to? He's just having a very simple conversation with his brother of, bro, enough with your little tantrum. It's time to wake up.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And another thing that could add to even the coldness, but the reason why he doesn't kill Vash. One, Vash isn't a threat to him, but two, if Vash is already someone like this, then he's like, no, you're special, Vash.
Right. Yeah.
Not because you're my brother.
It's not that he doesn't
because
value.
You're like me.
It's not that he doesn't value life. He just has a stricter definition on what life is.
Yeah.
Humans aren't life. They're, you're a
cancer,
a virus.
disease.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
We are the cure.
Right. And so, no. Why would I ever kill my brother? I would not want to do. We did have a fight, and I maybe had to take your arm because but
he has a thing for that.
Right.
He has a thing for that.
Just the the little trophies, I guess.
Yeah. Did you get
He wants
the
to watch
vibe-
them bleed.
Did you get the vibe that there's this element of the way that he still held on to the same personality traits of when he was so young? That in some ways, what hurt do you think Nye is holding on to that would keep his personality so locked in that space when he killed everybody?
So I don't think it has to be necessarily, because I think if
You don't think so?
If he sees humans as being, the plague, right? Then I feel like I understand why he cackled from the top of that, cliff thing, right?
Right, but he's not trying to convince Vash though. That's the part that I feel like is different though. Is that,
I mean, maybe I think it's something where that's a lot of time has
being
passed.
petty, if you will.
Oh, totally, because it's the nobody can get under your skin like family.
No. But I think that that's intentional, and that's not only childish, but that's something that you do when you feel like you have someone slighted you. So I feel like there's an element of where we could actually understand more about Nye if we understand why he views basically
Sure.
Vash as someone that he needs to be petty against. Basically.
So thought experiment, right? He does the thing that wrecks humanity, right? And he's cackling and he's like, I'm reveling in my godhood, basically, right?
And now we're partners in crime, effectively.
Yeah.
Vash.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then after he made this beautiful art piece and put it on display for his brother.
His brother mocked it or laughed at it and said no.
Right, said it's despicable
stupid.
and horrible, and he's like, what the fuck, man?
It's just that. It's just that his brother rejected him.
Yeah,
at
and
that
so
point.
it's the there's the disconnect is so strong that he's like, this is, come on, Vash,
But okay, I get that. That I feel like has to be a percentage of it, totally. Yeah. But I feel like the Vash, that was
already mocking.
That was already. He's like, I've already got a slight on you.
Right. It's
like that.
Yeah, and so maybe what it is he had to put up with the fact that Vash had all of this empathy and care and bullshit like that, right? And even the person that was caring for them, Rem or whatever, she's like spouting all this stuff, and it's like, no, you don't get it. Cool, maybe you helped bring us about, but like, isn't it obvious we're so much better than you? And because Vash didn't share that, there's that frustration because he wasn't able to fully reveal that until here. And so because he kind of maybe realizes that Vash isn't going to get it, right? Or he doesn't get it currently, he's like, I'll show him, right? But that's still not enough, right? And it's the, okay, but now you're stuck in this with me. I have done something that cannot be undone. And so now, out of necessity at the very least, come over to my side.
Yeah. When, he wakes up, Vash, and then the explosion stuff goes off.
That's another good point. So Vash's introduction is saying good morning to all the people in the area. Ostensibly all the humans in Cryo, right? He's basically, he knows a bunch of them by name. He's treating them as individuals, right?
Right.
He's not there for that part.
No, he's not. So then he ends up, panicking and running, and then we have the two of the others running, Nye and Rem here. Maybe that's it also, is that they were never able to connect either.
Oh, sure.
He's way closer to Rem here than he is to Nye.
Well, and also, he's way closer to Rem than Nye is to Rem. Of course, because Nye is, causing her death and doesn't care.
But they're not family. Like, Rem is not their mother or anything.
Sure.
Like, they're just probably some of the few people that are actually awake during all the...
Sure, or the two destined children that will
and she's the one that's monitoring them and making sure they're okay or something.
Yeah,
but that moment basically of her sending them off is just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So
I don't think there's anything more we can really get out of the.
That's enough of the
the intro.
This is the setup, But I think that there's definitely that bit of like bite and spite and to what Knives is doing.
That's a cool detail. Nye's big moment of like, hey, don't worry, was saying that the plant ship would survive.
Right. I saved the people that matter. Yeah. Yeah, don't you scold me. Right.
Yeah, and then he goes, we're partners in crime there. You're my accomplice, that's what he says, yeah. And then,
Right, which is an interesting thing to say if, clearly Vash was surprised by all of that, right? So...
Oh, God, yeah. Like, he has no idea what's going on.
So saying the accomplice thing, that's a... It's more just the blame thing of, all right, now, now you're stuck with this, then you actually actively played a part in it.
Yeah. It's a very, very fun setup for a villain. And I just love how much we allowed the rival type villain to be able to be involved in the story directly and quickly.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling almost this little bit of like, I'm not sure, based on the way that first episode and second episode went, I felt like we're pulling in two different directions. And I'm like, I need things to coalesce. And here it all collapses together. And it's like, also, there it is.
Another thing I just got to say that
Yeah.
I want to give major props to this show for.
Yeah.
So there's setting and then there's aesthetic, right?
Yes.
This is a sci-fi with a Western aesthetic. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Love it.
Western meaning the desert.
Yeah,
the lone gunman.
It's a Wild West,
the ponchos, the glasses, the cowboy hats. Yeah.
But the other thing that I just love so much is when you bring a fantasy aesthetic into sci-fi.
Yes.
It just hits in a very special kind of way.
Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. And the visual of Knives as he's in his just robes, basically, walking barefoot through the desert. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all the other stuff that follows.
The traipsing over the blood.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, mwah. It's so good. I love it.
He really feels like he's from a far-flung fantasy universe, and he's walking amongst these pathetic mortals.
Two worlds that do not coexist. It's like it just doesn't work.
It's in some ways part of the thing that made Arcane's vibe also just really fun was that you had this world where people would have a pseudo magical kind of effects and stuff, but then they had also the steampunk like sci-fi tech things as well. And also, what do you know, had a cool blend of 2D and 3D as well. But in this,
in this we're not going for wealth disparity. We're talking
we're talking apocalyptic,
like, reality disparity, This
is a nightmare. And it's Vash's nightmare that he has to live in until he's willing to wake up. And that's so fucked. I love duo, family, like rival type, even if they're not both protagonists, but the idea that they're both set to be in line with each other for their own respective arcs. Because I don't care as much for Nai right now.
As a person, it's not like we have any like
we don't have emotional
attachment to him other than
Vash
holy
really
shit.
cares about him still, despite all this.
Yeah,
that's the part that I feel like is really fun, is that he was screaming and crying, why? Meaning that for the sake of, in some ways, I think the audience, Vash doesn't get it still.
Right. Even though Knives might have told him many times, right, in very simple language,
he still doesn't understand.
It's
which
just
is good.
Fully incompatible.
Right. Which is great, because that means that there's an image in Vash's head of who Nai is. Mm-hmm. And that's not who Nai is showing right now.
Yeah.
Which is so fun to me, because I take that and I go for the classic, they have an old grudge of some kind that Nai is hyper acting out with regards to. Or there's an element of something that Nai is suffering and or in pain from, and it's not Vash's fault or anything, but it's something that Vash couldn't see, couldn't connect with, and that to me connects things again to a third-party thing. I'm not going to hold too tightly to that theory, but I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited, given the way that the show introduced Nai. Even though I'm not connected to him emotionally as a character yet, I am very excited for his development as a character, for the way in which we finally eventually see the other dimensions to him beyond this mad mage god, It is special. Yeah, it gives me Akira vibes.
Oh, yeah.
But without having anything related to the actual, character stuff there.
Right, it's more the when power gets to that crazy level, shit gets weird.
Right, but also the pain of being unable to connect in the moment when you have the one who's running mad with their power.
Yeah.
And that if you could just reach them, maybe this could all be actually solved. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
The odds that I'd give you, Vash,
are very low.
Yes. And even then, that's the odds that you will kill him, right?
Now, this is the same motherfucker that fired one bullet to stop that cluster rocket thing there.
Well, he's going to need something better than a 22 next time. I don't know.
I'll say,
you got to unlock your own gates.
I was going to say, there's literally mechanics that they've built in as to how Vash can do this. He's going to unlock his gate at some point. Because whatever that means.
Yeah.
He's going to understand what the plants are being used for, and that's going to give him some knowledge about his motivation.
Yep.
He's actually going directly to the place where he knows where he is. That's another big thing we just didn't know that he knew. Also, he has the capacity to shoot with intent to kill for Nai. Another great thing that's now been solved by that there.
And there's no conflict on that point.
There's no conflict. There's maybe a little bit, because he did see him at the piano and he was trembling like, I don't know if I can do
right.
this.
There was the first bullet that shot the blade nearby, right?
Right.
You know, and it's like
I'm talking about at the piano.
Oh, no, yeah,
he
right,
had the
even
gun held
before.
at him and he wasn't shooting.
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
wanted to understand, you know. So, yeah, there's all that too. But then also a fun little detail here.
Yes.
If you're going to have your main villain, at least right now, have the ability to induce a psychic episode of sorts
Right.
for one of your measures of attacks. There are certain story tropes that are used primarily with that mechanism in mind. And one of them, when the protagonist is the one doing that to the antagonist, is you actually finally understand them.
Yes.
You actually finally go in and you see why. And I think the fact that we had this so early introduced as a thing that can happen is so that they can have that conversation, the two of them in the psychic space.
Sure.
One of my favorite moments in another series that I don't want to very gratuitously spoil has one of my favorite conversations between two characters in a very out of time and space psychic environment and stuff.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a spoiler.
That would be a bit of a spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they can pull that off here in a show that's probably done after the 12 episodes or whatever, because I'm pretty sure this is a one-core anime.
It's one core.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's not getting a season 2. I'm pretty sure it's just a
that's
quick run here.
Yeah. Well, if they
We can get that by, episode 12 equivalent. Like, I'm fucking hyped.
yeah, like with the amount of stuff that we just got in the second half of this episode.
Yes.
Like one core, it's like, oh yeah, that's plenty of time. That's
Yeah.
all right, let's go.
I'm also here for hey, because this is very clearly not Trigun remake. This is a reimagining of things here.
Yeah.
Having a new type of story structure that is very similar to the Arcane 3-episode just package boom thing here. I would love another 3-episode mini arc like this.
He goes to the city. Here's how it.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
it's actually imagine how much you could do then in 3 episodes.
Yeah, right. We don't have to deal with like the
Well, the baggage of all these characters now, because he's actually going to leave them.
well, that too. Yeah. And the I feel fully satisfied that or confident that we would be able to have these characters interact theoretically as many times as is necessary.
Yes.
Without it feeling like it's weird that the conflict hasn't been ended.
Resolved, yeah.
Because they are so fundamentally opposed. And 2, Vash is so utterly helpless against Knives, and Knives does not desire to kill him.
Knives is not to
So,
kill him, yeah.
so
They covered basically all their bases so that this conflict can end when it is natural to the flow of our understanding of Vash and his character.
They could have 4 or 5 more encounters in that one core of thing, and while theoretically there might be a danger of like us getting used to Knives being around as opposed to having the same kind of terror,
and also potentially the other thing that I think is really fun here is that Vash has not become a threat to what his goals are.
Right. So he has no reason to actually.
Right. It's not that like he's going to go to his base and be like, I'm going to start fucking up all your shit here. Then it would be kind of silly for Nye to be like, okay, stop. Like
yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
At that point, he might take the second arm.
Well, or he might be like, oh yeah, reporter.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm going to give you more people to remember the faces of that you killed by not joining me.
Gonna turn more people against you.
Yeah, exactly. But all that being said, very fun 3rd episode.
Yes.
Very, very
Yes.
chaotic and wild. Lots of things
my
we could talk about,
God.
but we're going to hold off on that for now. But thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.